Jared Polin Fronos Photo.com, and I'm here with a rapid fire critique, which is sponsored by two people. It's Adorama Picks and it's Alan's Camera. But enough with that. Let's dive right into this and see who the photographer is. It is G.W. Mills, who's a 16-year-old photographer in the South. He sent this in. Anybody who would like to send in their 10 best photos, make sure they're your best of the best of the best with honors, sir. You can send them to fronosphoto@gmail.com with the subject line Adorama Picks Rapid Fire Critique. So he sent in 10 images, and I'm going to go through them right now. So the first shot taken with a 35mm 1.8 on a Nikon D5000. You know what I liked? Let's go back and look at these numbers again, where he is shooting at. And let's see, ISO 1600. What I love right here is that he's not afraid to bump his ISO up and shoot at 1600 ISO. He got 1/320th of a second at f1.8. I may have gone to like f2.2 or 2.5, you know, so then you would end up with like a 1/60th or 1/25th of a second type shutter speed. But in that way, your focus, you wouldn't be so shallow. But here, obviously, he wanted to get the person out of focus and the candles being blown out in focus. This number 7 of the 17 is all that is in focus. I like the processing. I see why it probably had to go black and white because of the lack of light, and that's why he was bumped to 1600. But nice framing, nice composition, way to get down on the angle and way to get close to fill the frame. Let's go to the second shot. So Brad Paisley, I am not a country fan of country music, so nobody get upset here. I will say that this is a pretty lucky shot, and now it's not lucky because the photographer got lucky, it's just lucky because this flash went off in the background, which creates some interest in the photos. There's only so much you can do from the stands when you're shooting photos. You know, in this case, got lucky, flash went off in the background. Let's see what it was taken at. Just, I'm kind of interested to see something here. This time, 170 millimeters. The lens is down here somewhere, right? 18 to 200. Ooh, all right. Yeah, f9, oh boy, at a 60th of a second, probably using VR at 3200 with that camera, is pushing it a little far. This is why I'm not going to rip on and say that he shouldn't have an 18 to 200. But with the quality of work that he's putting out, and you're going to see in the 10 pictures here in his set, a 70 to 200 is going to take you a heck of a lot further than an 18 to 200 VR. That mega zoom range, when you've got to be at f9, well, usually out at 200 with that camera, you're probably around 6.3. That's just, you're losing so much light, and in turn, you're bumping your ISO, you're losing quality, you're getting slower shutter speeds. But anyway, nice job capturing this with what he had to capture with. So this is a Untitled. I like this. Great framing, great composition. Threw the subject off to the left-hand side. You can see some of this purple fringing. I'm not a stickler for this, but I'm going to venture to say that it's the 18 to 200 zoomed all the way out. Yeah, it is the... I'll just double check. 18 to 200 zoomed all the way out. Yeah, so that's what's happening there. That's the type of thing that you lose the quality with. But for what he's shooting, there's nothing wrong with that to start out. You can always upgrade in the future as you take it further. But I like the composition. I like that he's using the rule of thirds to throw the subject off to the left-hand side of the frame, because if the subject was right in the middle, you would totally lose interest in this shot. It would be like, there's a piece of wood and there's a subject, there's a bird right in the middle. I think the bird has great hair. It's kind of like a comb over. It's going over. But yeah, great job with metering, because there's, you know, unless he cut the background out and pulled one over on me here, which I don't think happened, then it's a very nice job selecting the exposure right on the bird instead of the background, which would have caused the bird not to work. I don't think it's cut out. I don't know. Let me know if this is cut out, Mr. Mills. Let me know. All right, moving on. All right, so the final step, what I read about this on the photo, can I put up info here? I wish they let you show info here. Boom, boom, boom. Comment. No, I don't want to comment. I just want to show info. How do I show info? Well, anyway, it says it's his sister's prom dress. It's before she's moving away, and he's upset that she's moving away. So way to see a different angle. Way to go down a little bit and shoot the shoes. Obviously, shoes are very important to girls who are going to their prom. The color is pulled back. It's a split tone, it looks like. And it's just a nice job of seeing something a little different. So that's what it's all about. Seeing the world a little different and not just taking the normal type shots, but showing the shoes was a great thing. I mean, yeah, I'll get to this in a minute. So we have a self-portrait here. A little on the dark side. Needs a little bit more light there to portray, just to get a little bit, just a feel for the image. Maybe he was going for something a little dark. I believe he said that he's not, a dark person and it doesn't represent him very well. So maybe he was just trying around. It looks like a lamp off to the side. So really, what I would say here is pump a little more light in there when you're trying to do the self-portrait if you're trying to portray something a little brighter. But other than that, it's a nice job trying to make a self-portrait happen. You set it up on the tripod, you snap a shot, you try some lighting. There's nothing wrong with trying, so that's a good thing. Let's move on. So we have a street performing. I like this. Something that's throwing me off, though, is the background. I want to see what this is shot at, because I want to know if this is digitally manipulated later. No, it was shot at 1.8. So all right, good. Then that means that it's just being blown out, which is a good thing. So here we go. It's blown out, which is great. Great separation, great color. I love the fact. You know what? I want to look at it again. I should have looked at some more settings. ISO 1600. Love the fact that he's not afraid to shoot high. Shoot at higher ISOs. F1.8, we know how shallow that depth of field is, 1/50th of a second. Nice job hand holding to make sure everything stays in focus. And also, it's hard to tell with flicker sometimes how sharp it is. But again, here's something I like to say. Don't always shoot at 1.8 because it's so narrow, shallow depth of field. I would possibly go to 2.2, 2.5, 2.8, somewhere in that range, just so that you can get a little bit more leeway with your focus. But nice job, nice colors. I love that the background's out of focus and you've got people smiling, paying attention, and it's a great street scene. Moving on to the next one. This is his sister. Now, this is an interesting thing. I'm sure it's a little awkward to shoot your 17-year-old, photograph your 17-year-old sister making out with some guy. But anyway, that's what it said in the comment. I know I read the comments earlier, so that's what it said. But really nice job here with working with the backlight. Way to just get your exposure right, because if he was shooting any other way than probably either not even spot manual, just if he wasn't in manual, I think he's in manual. We're gonna go look before I put my foot in my mouth. 1/3200th of a second. Ooh, that leads me to believe exposure manual, and he's had spot metering on. So there we go. So what we're looking at here, it looks like he used the recovery slider a little bit in Lightroom. That's why you can see some of this hazy stuff over here. But it's very difficult to shoot with the sun as the background. But he did a great job here, just spilling around over the one guy's shoulders just a little bit. Really nice job, and nice job switching into manual to get your exposure right. This one doesn't quite work out. It's either really, really cropped, or it's just off. It's not in focus. It's not sharp. There's some blur going on here, and some rule of thumbs here. You could pan with your subject, follow them through so that maybe it focus on the face, but as you're moving, you're panning. That's what when you go like this, and then you shoot at one point, and then the background may streak, but the subject at some point may be in focus. Generally, you can do that at a slower shutter speed, but as long as you pan and follow your subject, you have a better opportunity of keeping them in focus, but the background's going to start to do some kind of blurring. So yeah, just work on that. That looks like a fun little scooter thing to work with. I would probably love to try it. It's like a training scooter. It's like a training scooter. It has 2 wheels on the front. All right, so he is shooting senior portraits. Now, yeah, you can do some damage with a camera. This is a good way to take photographs of girls. And I'm sure it doesn't hurt that he has a sister because she has friends, and you can always photograph them. But nice job taking the girl into the trees, wherever it is, and nice job posing, nice job framing. The only thing I would say here is try not to be so uber-duper tight. close to the hands. Maybe, maybe have her do something else with the hands, go horizontal or something. But this frame does work. Nice color, nice contrast, really nice on the face. Great job, actually. I mean, this is just nice separation from the background. Let's look at what lens. Is it a 50 again? Let's see. It is the 50 again. Shooting at 2.5, so he bumped it up a little bit. When you're shooting flat on, you don't have to worry as much about the depth being shallow. But if she's turned to the side, then obviously it's harder to get things in focus. But straight on, you have a better chance to do it. So nice job there. Again, let's see. Where were we shooting? ISO 5. I love the fact that he's playing with all different ISOs to get the shutter speeds he needs and the frame that he wants. So great job right here. Great, there's so many people to photograph, especially if you're young and you go to school. There's so many people that want to have their pictures taken, and you just have such an in. You'd be like, listen, do you want a new Facebook profile picture? I guarantee you this person at some point used this photo for their Facebook profile picture. So it's just like an instant in that, well, hey, maybe they have a father, a parent or something that runs a business and sees the photo of their daughter and goes, I really like what you did here. Could you come to my business and do the same thing? I don't care if you're 16. I don't care if you're 60. It's going to work like that. It's about your work. It's about putting it out there, and people are going to end up calling you for jobs. So great job right here. Let's move on to the next one, which so happens to be the last one. It's another senior portrait. I'll tell you, I was shooting at 13, and I was like afraid of girls. I was afraid of I was terrible. I had friends, but it was just like so difficult to go up to a girl and be like, hey, can I take your picture? I was shooting sports. What I should have been doing is photographing the soccer girls, the volleyball girls, the bowling, well, not so much the bowling girls, the swimming girls because they're in swimsuits. Yeah, all of that stuff. That's what I should have been photographing in high school. Now, let's look at this. Is this sharp or not, or is it focused in on her lips? Venture to say 50 again, but 1.8? Yep, 1.8. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about when you're at 1.8, you're going to possibly miss your focus if she moves or if you move. I'm just going to get closer here. It's so hard to tell here if this is in focus. Let me see if there is a full res version up here. Nope, the largest size is the 1024 by whatever. It looks like the mouth is in focus. You want to focus right here on the eyeball. That's why I would venture to say you probably didn't need to shoot at 1.8 outside. I'd put it up to at least 2.8. Get a little bit of range in here. I've been also going to 3.2 on occasions now, just to give myself a little bit of leeway, just a little bit more depth and a little bit more in focus. But great. Yeah, great posing. It's very difficult. I have trouble posing people. It's just not my major forte. I like to just capture and let people do what they do and then feel the moment and see it. But when you can create and pose, nice job right here. She looks great. It's a great photo. I like the color. I like the processing. And it's great that you're getting out there and doing these senior pictures. So keep it up. Great job. And anybody else out there, you can click on this link to... Well, on the post, you can see all of the photos they'll be running. I'll put up the slideshow if I can, so you can see all of the photos here and contact Grant. You can contact Grant if you have any questions for him or if you'd like him to take your pictures. But great job. If you want to submit your photos for a rapid-fire critique, send them to froknowsphoto@gmail.com. So we will see you another time. Jared Poland, froknowsphoto.com. See ya!